Changing minds one thought at a time.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Motivate Social, where we're bringing people who are changing the world via social media. I am Dr. Akina Finch, and I can't be here without my wonderful co-host, Vanessa Canterbury. How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I am fabulous, fabulous. I cannot wait to talk about today's guest. Mrs. Demishia Samuels. Yes. And why am I excited that she is here? Because unlike most, she is still working her 9 to 5 while having a successful business as well. So she has a successful corporate career and a successful business career. So we're going to talk a little bit about that, and she's going to tell us about the business and how it could benefit you and all that good stuff. How does that sound, Vin?
Sound amazing. I'm excited.
All right, all right. So, Miss Demetia, come on here and tell us about yourself a little bit.
Okay, well, thank you first for having me. I'm excited to be with you ladies. So, as you said, I am Demishia Samuels, and I am a business strategist, and I am a STEM professional. And basically, what that means is that I took my expertise in corporate, and then I found a way to monetize it outside of corporate, because I truly believe that people need streams of income, not drips of income. And so that normally means that it takes you a while to actually build up your businesses on the side, or your side hustles into real businesses, whichever which way we're doing it in today's terminology. But I did successfully start at the bottom of a big pink company that just took over the yellow company. And I run every time you get an email from that company, it's because of my systems and my processes that are behind the scenes. And so just, started from the bottom, and then I got to 6 figures there. But what I realized is every single time I got a promotion, this fear would come over me, like, okay, they just were able to change my lifestyle. Okay, now my son can afford this, or now my family can do that. And I truly believe that whoever giveth to you can take it away from you. So I started looking at entrepreneurial world as well. So I was really successful. I don't hate my job, but I just realized, like, what if one day they hate me? So then what happens? And so I was like, well, if these people are willing to pay me this much, then what I know must be worth even more. So I began my entrepreneurial journey just out here really trying to, truly build a brand. I did my stint in network marketing like most people do. And then I realized, like, hey, you have all the skill sets you need. You have all the experience you need. Now it's just time for you to package it up and actually monetize it and create your personal brand. But while doing that, there was no need for me to actually quit my job. So, I live in the best of both worlds unapologetically.
Can you say that one more time?
I live in the best of both worlds unapologetically. So I'm not one of those people that's going to be like, hey, quit your job or corporate sucks, because my bonuses are awesome. My stock options are awesome. And during COVID, yeah, this insurance is on point when you have a 23-year-old that's around here and you never know. Right. So he sits on the insurance, and then you have a 5-month-old and a baby in the middle of a pandemic. So you definitely, corporate came through for me. And so I still think that there's value in corporate and value in these degrees, and you can still go get your money's worth, but always flip it and become an entrepreneur.
See, this is what you said. Flip it and become an entrepreneur. And that's where a lot of people miss the big thing out of what you just said. You never said quit your job. You never said just, this job is for the moment and I'm gonna go ahead and do this and that. And you didn't do any of that. You just made it clear that it's okay to still be able to work your 9 to 5, reap the benefits from it, learn from it, grow from it, and everything. But on the other flip side to it, let's be realistic. If this job is gone tomorrow, do you have a backup plan? That's one thing that I really appreciate what you said, because I had to learn backwards. I started from being laid off to build my business because I could no longer find a job. I no longer qualify for a job. So then what? And so I'm always telling people to allow your job to be your investment. And
I agree.
so
It's your biggest investment.
the big right. So
And
I
don't
want
wait
you.
until you
Yeah.
have to build the
Yep.
business,
Mhm.
because that's a hard place. Like, I applaud you, because that's a hard place to come from,
Mhm.
where you have to get it in.
Yep.
And you probably have all kinds of integrity, but in these internet streets,
Mm.
sometimes you can tell when these entrepreneurs have to get it in. They're running these crazy sales. They're telling you 6 figures in 10 days. They're
Mhm.
telling you all kinds of things because their rent is due. Their
Yep.
lights are due. Whereas I'm telling you that it's a process and it takes a while, because I have no reason to rush you into anything, because you're not actually paying my light bill.
Yeah. I see. You're gonna get some things started now, okay? I'm loving this. I'm loving this because me and Ken talk about this all the time, and you said it again. In these internet streets, where the people are desperate and they out there doing things that's not, right, but they're out there doing it, and we want to be able to do things the right way. And if we could be able to do it the right way from the people who are doing it the right way, then let's get the information. So keep on giving them this information, because people need to hear this information. And like you said, be unapologetic about living the life of both worlds. There's nothing wrong with that. So take me back to that moment where you started to say, you know what, I want to do something a little dib and a dab over here because I really like doing this on the side. What brought that to the point of, let me go over here and dip
Well,
and find out what's over here, how I could do that, how I
yeah,
can bring
so I always, since Snoopy snow cone machines, I was always somebody who was like a hustler. And I I went to college to make money. So I actually thought that college taught you how to make money. So that's the only reason I wanted to go to college, because I just was like, oh, I know they teach you how to make money there. And when I got to college and realized they didn't teach you to make money, but they actually taught you how to survive in corporate, I,
Mhm.
quickly, graduated and went into corporate and got into that political machine that is there. And I learned the game, and I understand it. However, I just was like, wow, they don't actually, my boss will never pay me more than she's worth. Like, that's just not how corporate is set up. They, it's set up to pay you enough to stay, but not enough to dip out, right? So I realized that quickly. And so, like I was saying earlier, my first, endeavors was, and I still love the industry, and it was network marketing. And the mindset, if anything, them jokers over there give you personal development out the yin yang. And so I got exposed to lots of books and lots of mindset shifts about money and my relationship with money. So that was kind of my first, like, real endeavor of like, hey, you can make more than 40K in a month, in a day, in a year, or 80K, or even 6 figures if you wanted to. And that was the first industry that really kind of exposed me to it. However, I quickly realized there that it's still like corporate. At the top is the top and the bottom is the bottom. So I realized, hey, you really have to have your own. And if you ever been in corporate and you ever seen somebody who was a contractor, and when you look at their rates compared to what full-time employees make, that's how you can really see kind of like, this is what they paying somebody in the outside world for what we quote unquote do inside. And when I started seeing $100 an hour and $150 an hour from contractors that were quote unquote brought onto our teams, I was like, okay, so there's a skill set that can be monetized outside of these four walls in this window, if I just tap into it and then expose it to the rest of the world. So there's that, because I want to tell people, if corporate isn't willing to pay you money, you need to be careful that if you could actually be an entrepreneur. And I say that with all earnest, because if you're not willing to get up when somebody's paying you every single day, I'm not sure how you're going to get up when nobody's paying you. So, you just need to really evaluate why you didn't make it, quote unquote, in corporate. Or did you really just hate it? Or was it, the one bad boss? Or did you really have the skill set to move into entrepreneurship? So, yeah.
So you brought up a point, you know, did you really have the skills? So how do you know if it's just fear or if you just really don't have the skills. I assume you talk about that in your business.
Yeah. So basically, first, and like I said, I do focus on STEM professionals now, but however, it applies to all of them. So if you have went and, paid for these degrees or paid for any training certificates, whatever, and you start these jobs and you realize, you know what, I don't like the actual work. I don't like dealing with people. There's certain soft skills that you know that you have. If you're not making it to meetings on time in corporate, you're not going to make it to meetings on time with your clients or for podcast interviews or for anything else of that matter. If you have a hard time waking up in the morning when somebody's paying you to wake up in the morning, then when it's time for that early morning training that you pay for the coach, you're not going to wake up either. So there's some tangible soft skills that you can point to say, okay, is it my habits? Is it me? Or is it the actual job? Because if you're not on point with those intangible skills that are going to be useful inside and out of corporate, then you know you have a problem. And also the second thing is once you become an expert, which is what we'll talk about soon, is you're an expert at that period, whether you are doing it for a company or you're doing it for yourself. However, when you move into entrepreneurship, you don't have time to learn how to be an expert and learn how to be an entrepreneur, because there's a whole new skill set that you have to take on to become the entrepreneur. So you can't learn how to do business strategy and learn how to be an online marketer at the same time. And everybody in entrepreneurship has to learn how to do online marketing. So I tell people, if you're already a good stylist or a hairdresser, or you're good at the tech, Dr. Finch, if you already know how to write a book, okay, be an expert at that. Then go learn the sales skills, the marketing skills, the social media, and everything else, the people skills that you need to complement that. And a lot of times you're out here like, I'm gonna quit my job and then learn how to be a business strategist, or I'm gonna quit my job and then learn how to be a stylist. It just doesn't work that way, because you're about to go learn a whole new skill set. So that's what I mean, whether it's fear or not, is, look at yourself. Do you really have, put on your big girl panties, do you really have the skill set? And if so, now go be an entrepreneur.
Man, look, we're gonna go on and on about this, but my goodness. Entrepreneurship is not for everybody. And some people are just good at working a job. There's nothing wrong with that. Either or, is nothing wrong with it. The most important thing that we all could agree on is that make sure you have your backup plan. Have a backup plan. There's nothing wrong with, just like Demishia said, that go ahead and if you feel that you are expert, go ahead and invest in it and keep on learning so you can be able to show other people how to do it or help other people how to do it. What's one of the things would you say to people if they find themselves loving it in what they discovered about themselves versus I'm just doing it just to be doing it, just to get some extra money, but still end up miserable? Is it worth it?
So inside of corporate or outside?
Both.
Okay. So first, everybody's not meant to be an entrepreneur, but everybody has to have a brand. So whether you're in corporate or not, you need that mindset of my career is my business, or I have a career and a quote unquote business. See, in today's time, you can shift from company to company to company. You're still selling yourself. So everybody's always in the sales game, whether you're selling yourself personally in your expertise or you're selling some product or service, right? So that's always going to be happening. So when it comes to you doing it or being miserable about what you're doing, you need to evaluate what you're selling, right? Because you probably don't like what you're selling. So you either don't like yourself and the skill sets that you have, which is why you're going from job to job to job that you hate, just doing it just to be doing it. That usually means you don't like what you're selling, and that's yourself. A lot of people don't like to to deal with that. But if you know that your skill set only says I can work in customer service, maybe you need to shift and then change that up and build up that expertise to go get a different job in sales or a different job in service that's more elevated, whether it's money or whatever. And then when it comes to just doing something on the side, I learned this from my husband, that all passions don't need to be profit, because he has some passions of his that he's always like, I would never want to do this for money, because then I would lose the passion behind it. And I'm not one of those people, but he showed me that there are those type of people that everything you're good at, all of your abilities are not meant to be for sale. Sometimes you're just an artist and you just want to do what you do. But you're going to have to tap into one of those skills and decide how to brand it and monetize it if you want to survive in today's society. There always has to be a dual thing, more than one income streaming into your home. And that's just our reality that we live in now.
That makes total sense. And let's talk a little bit about your business. We know that you are a STEM professional corporate. So what do you do in your entrepreneurial journey?
Yeah, so in my entrepreneurial journey, let's talk about that journey. So first, I started out as just a LinkedIn expert, right? So I knew that I was really good at networking in corporate. Again, we're taking that skill, and LinkedIn was for the ultimate professionals. So I was like, okay, I can combine these two. I can show people how to navigate through professional networking. So that's why I chose to be a LinkedIn expert and to train on LinkedIn. I was like, this is where I want to be. However, when I went through that journey, I realized the reason that people weren't networking on LinkedIn is because they had not built up any authority or any expertise online or anywhere that they were housing their thought leadership, that they weren't housing it anywhere. So that's how come when here comes my protocols and my tactics, and I find myself having to teach other things that were not necessarily in my wheelhouse at the time. So over the last 3 years, I began to build those other things. So the branding, the marketing, the strategy, to add to the professionalism for experts and those who want to be authorities in their industry. So that is where my focus became, is that, hey, you tech gurus, hey, you women in IT, understand that we are powerful brands when we combine our expertise with an entrepreneurial mindset. So that's what I do now over Experts and Entrepreneurs LLC, is basically teach experts how to become entrepreneurs, because like I was saying early, all entrepreneurs are not experts, and lots of time experts have not monetized themselves to become entrepreneurs.
That is very true. Very true. I'm loving this interview. You just don't understand. What's one of the things that you would love for them to take away from what, outside of what you already advise them in the corporate world and also in the entrepreneur world, because it's a lot of information, but what's the key information that you would give them?
I would say the key information is to be a thought leader. Like I am, like now I'm on the gospel of be a thought leader, and everything usually will fall into place. Find a place to house your thought leadership, like a podcast, a YouTube, a blog that you own, that you can express fully your opinions, your thoughts, your professional hypothesis, whatever you're an expert at, that you can fully be a thought leader there. Find that place first. And that's the main thing I want people to do. And once you have a place for your thought leadership, then you can find places to monetize it and to see what audiences actually need your.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you so much, Demishia. This was amazing. And, if someone who's a STEM professional out there is looking for your expertise, how do they find you?
Well, one, you can, once you spell my name right, Demishia, you can find Demishia Samuels on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram as Demishia Samuels. You can hang out with me in the Pivot to Profit Collective, which is my complimentary Facebook group.
Wonderful, wonderful. So now, final question. You mentioned your Facebook group. What will they find there, and what will they get from joining your community?
Right. So normally in math, the straight line is, the fastest way to get somewhere. So what you want to do is you want to pivot your skill set and point it to profit, right? So that's where I came up with the name pivot to profit, is to make sure that you're pivoting always to the money, always pivoting to who wants to buy your expertise. So in that group, I talk about strategy and techniques and tech tools even to help you house thought leadership. There is the foundation of it. And then from there, you usually can maybe hang out with me in my pivot to profit protocols, because there is a set of protocols that I put in place to make sure that I'm always giving quality information, products, and services to my audience. And so I teach those protocols in my actual system. But in the community, we kind of just touch on, general strategies and techniques that can help you get to a place where you're at least comfortable with sharing your thought leadership and actually beginning to build that brand. So if you're not a brand guru, come hang out with us in the Pivot to Profit Collective.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate this information, and I definitely will tell anybody to make sure that they support, because she's dropping nuggets like left and right, and it's only smart and wise to be able to pick this information up, because she's talking about real life stuff, from working in corporate America to being an entrepreneur, because she's dealing with both worlds. And a lot of us, especially in this time, in this pandemic, we need to understand this information and get it. So don't sleep on her. Make sure you follow her. Make sure you support her, join her group, and make sure you reach out to her overall, so you could be able to get on your journey, so you can understand how it's possible. You don't have to leave your 9 to 5, but you can build your business while you work in your 9 to 5. Thank you so much, Demishia. This has been amazing, and I can't wait to see you again, girl.
Thank you. I cannot wait.
I know. Oh Lord, it's gonna be amazing.
It's going to be awesome when we can see people again in the world.
I know, right? With that being said, make sure you follow us all over social media at Change Your Minds Online. You can also find us on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Motivation Social, where Dr. Finch and I are always bringing you real people who are changing the world via social media. So if I miss anything, I always do. Dr. Finch will always fill in of what I was missing. So Dr. Finch, did I miss anything?
Oh, like she said, just find us on the website, and you can also find us on Blog Talk, iTunes, Stitcher, Tuned In, iHeartRadio. If you listen to it, we're probably there. Yes, we're even sitting there on your YouTube channel, right? We're here for you. So listen to us, especially this episode, and then tell us what you want to hear. Tell us how we can give you more information that's going to enlighten you, because I know this episode enlightened you. So we want to bring you more of this. So with that being said, good night, everyone.
Good night.
Night.